This program is brought to you by thepodcastfactory.com.
Ben Settle, compulsively punchable.
He's the kind of guy who you'd probably just punch on the arm really hard if you ever met him.
Worshipped by feminists.
He pokes fun at feminism and women, just joking around, his whole sandwich making thing.
Mildly inspiring.
Yes, I recommend the Ben Settle Show, and anybody who isn't on it, that's their own loss.
Somewhat authentic.
Ben is a very distinct personality. There's no fluff. I can't stand fluff.
Syrupy sweet.
Tells it like it is, and sometimes may not be the most polite manner, shall we say.
Kind of useful.
So I have spent tens of thousands of dollars on coaching and masterminds, and I've learned more from Ben Settle's podcast than from any of that.
Semi-intelligent.
Ben sounds like a crazy guy at times, but he's one of the smartest individuals in marketing I've ever met.
Mostly forgettable.
He's always in the forefront of my mind.
The BenSettle.com podcast begins now.
This is Ben Settle of bensettle.com and the bensettle.com podcast. I'd like to say coming to you from the studio with producer Jonathan, but the reality is we are about as far away from each other on this continent as you can get. But through the magic of his audio team, it sounds like we're in the same room.
Ta-da!
So I think I just ruined whatever magic they're perceived. But that's what Jonathan, this is what I do. I break through the bullshit, even my own, and I have much. All right.
Nice.
It's kind of like, I don't know if this joke is going to relate exactly to my bullshit or not, but it's the joke from the movie Young Guns 2. And he's like, I've got some good news and I've got some bad news. The bad news is all we have is horse shit for supper. The good news is we have tons of it. And that is the bensettle.com podcast in one tidy little thing.
There's tons of it.
So,
and it's horseshit.
The good news is, the bad news is all I can give you is horseshit. But the good news is I have tons of it. That's the philosophy. That could be the mantra of this show if I wanted to. But I'm not going to. I'm not going to say that is the mantra of the show, but if somebody said that was the mantra of the show, I wouldn't fight them on it, Jonathan. I would say, look, you're entitled to whatever you want to believe on that, and I'm entitled to not agree with you, and you're entitled to get the hell out of here, off my lawn, so to speak, if you don't like it. If you want a different brand of horse shit, the Podcast Factory has all kinds of smells and flavors to choose from.
Thank you.
Anyway, so I want to talk about this idea of how to create your own luck. Jonathan, I'm wondering, I've never asked you this, okay? But in my own life, when I started to, after many years of her working very hard and failure, there have been a couple of times I've been accused of being, shall we say, lucky, right? No, you got lucky. Somehow I got lucky. Have you ever been accused of being lucky when you started seeing some real success? Like as Jonathan, I'm really happy for you, but I'm glad you got lucky. Has anyone ever told you that?
I don't know if they've ever told me, but they look at me funny because they don't understand what I do.
Right. Well, okay. But so maybe no one's like, maybe you probably have a higher class.
I haven't made it yet.
Or you just have a higher class of associates than I do. Okay. One of the two. I do stuff like that. But, it's not like everyone does it. But once in a while, Ben got lucky. Privilege. Ben has privilege.
Privilege. Yeah.
I had privilege, okay, but that's like another way he's got lucky. That's a bigger word, and it triggers. That's another word. Triggers the social justice warrior losers, and I love triggering them. And so, but anyway, this idea of luck, there's no such thing as like blind chance luck. There's chance, and chance is what it is, but there's nothing mystical about it. There's nothing magical about it. No matter what the law of attraction drama queens and fluffpreneur guys on Facebook say, you cannot mystically make yourself lucky. It doesn't work that way. But there is a way to manufacture your own luck. And Jonathan, I'm only too happy to reveal how this works. Okay, and that's what I'm going to. I don't think this will be a very long episode. It might be, I don't know, but it's not looking like it. I just want to impart this one thing. This is an important thing. If all they do is walk away from this one thing today, then my job is done. If all they do is walk away with what I'm going to teach them about luck and my joke about horseshit, that's it. There's nothing else I can teach them for the day after this. They are well balanced. So, now, this is nothing new. This is something my wrestling coach used to tell us. And, at the time I thought it was just horseshit. But I've come to believe it's not. It's actually very true. Luck is when preparation meets opportunity. In other words, if you're prepared for an opportunity and you're able to take advantage of it, to most people, it'll look like luck. They didn't see the hours and the years or whatever you did to prepare for that opportunity. So one example would be in Gary Halbert's magnificent book, The Boron Letters. Now, The Boron Letters, if anyone listening to this has no idea what that is, The Boron Letters is a series of 24 or 25, I can't remember. I think it was 25 letters that the late great Gary Halbert wrote to his son Bond when he was in Boron Federal Penitentiary, serving time for a crime he didn't, in a moral sense, he didn't even commit a crime. Basically, he got involved in a joint venture with two idiots, and they dropped the ball, and he begged them to stop mailing because they couldn't fulfill the product. And he begged them to please stop mailing until they could fulfill the product. They didn't because they were greedy. They got the attention of like the Attorney General or something of California, or I don't know who got the attention of. And then they started trying to build a case against him. And Gary ultimately was the one who went to prison because he was like the brains. He was considered the brains of the outfit. Even though he begged them to stop doing these things, they did it anyway, and so be it. But so he was in prison, and he wrote these series of letters teaching his son the ins and outs of life and specifically direct marketing. Well, anyway, in one of the later letters in that book, he's writing about this guy who's up for parole. And he said, this guy got a haircut. He looks really clean and really sharp. He's been studying some accounting books. He's trying to get his accounting degree and all this stuff while he's in prison. And he's trying to be ready because his opportunity to get out of there was then. He was making himself as prepared as possible so that he could leave prison, so he could be paroled. And that is, and I don't know if he ever did. I'm assuming he did. It sounded like he really had his stuff together. Someone would say, well, he's lucky. He just got the right parole board and at the right time and everyone's in a good. No, he was preparing himself for that opportunity. And so if you want to be lucky, you have to do the same thing. You have to be prepared for opportunities that you don't even know are coming, Jonathan. There are opportunities. I'm talking to you like I'm lecturing you. There are opportunities that are going to present themselves to you. And if you're not ready for them, it's your fault. And you have no one to blame but yourself. You should always be ready, constantly prepped, constantly making yourself and putting yourself in positioning yourself so that you can take advantage of these things when they happen. I'll try to give an example from my own life, Jonathan, if that's okay. Am I allowed to do that on the show? Give an example from my own life?
We'll allow it.
Okay. I mean, I don't know what the rules are here in the podcast factory. I don't know what goes on behind closed doors over there. I don't know what kind of like tomfoolery you guys are up to. But so I spent many years really trying to get good at copywriting. And I mean, over and above what most people do to try to get good at copywriting. I'm talking about, just entire days filled of just constantly working at it. Even at the job, when I was working this job, I angled for the second shift because I knew I would have some time alone. Because I get my work done really fast and I could like work on ads and practice and stuff. So I was able to utilize that time. On my breaks, I would go out to the car and I would work on stuff away from anybody and on lunch and all that. I was constantly doing that kind of stuff. When I was driving to and from work, I'd always have some audio on, like the Gene Schwartz lectures or something, or just always something going constantly. Now, I had no client opportunities at all at this time, at all. I was terrible at getting clients. This was back before social media and you could kind of dazzle anyone with bullshit and suddenly you're getting hired. Social media has made it so easy for the charlatans and the wannabes to get successful. It's kind of scary, but, unfortunately, that's letting people leapfrog farther than they should. And, they'll get reined back in eventually. Cold, hard reality will set in. But, anyway, my point is this. I spent many years like this, like just constantly making myself the best I could be at this. Even though I didn't have that many client opportunities, I still worked hard at it. And then when some opportunities came, I was ready to jump on those opportunities, and I kicked a lot of butt with those ads. Now, had I not been prepared for those opportunities and I had been like these social media queens or fluffpreneur kings out there who like put videos out talking about, how the universe is going to give you whatever copywriting skills you need if you just open up your flower and let it in, or whatever they're talking about, and they'll get clients like that. They will. They'll get the fluffy clients. But I had to do it the hard way. Okay. And a lot of people I know had to do it. And a lot of people listening to this had to do it the hard way. Hard work. And when opportunities come, you're prepared for it. And that's my whole point. And, I saw a lot of success very quickly. I paid off a lot of debts and stuff. And there were people who thought I was just lucky. Oh, Ben just knows the right people. No, I was prepared for certain opportunities by preparing myself. And that's one of the first things you can do to manufacture your own luck, is to always be working on your skills and bettering yourself, constantly bettering yourself. This is another reason, Jonathan, forget the sales for a second. If somebody wants to get good at copywriting and selling and persuasion, you should be writing an email every day trying to sell something just to force yourself to get better at it every day. I mean, you should be doing it to get sales too. That'll be your nice byproduct. But just doing that is a reason to join email players, learn my system, as I do the always be closing, learn my system and then get good at this, because this skill can be used with any form of communication, not just email. It can be used for speaking and podcasts and whatever you want to do, articles, blogs, whatever it is you want to do. Another thing you can do to make yourself lucky, to manufacture, create luck by pulling it right out of thin air, well, that's what other people will say at least, is to always position yourself in front of moving parades. It's like the whole Gary Halbert thing again. He's like, you want to be in front of a starving crowd. It doesn't matter how good your hamburgers are, just be in front of a starving crowd. A lot of people like to get in these weird, like they come up with product ideas before a market. And so what they do is they're trying to find, they have a solution that's looking for a problem. You don't want that. You want to get in front of problems and then find a solution. It's much easier that way. And you'll make money much faster, and you'll accelerate the rate at which you get through business much faster. And it's all because you positioned yourself properly. It's not because you're even any smarter than you were before. You just knew how to put an attractive offer in front of receptive people by being in front of that parade. Another thing you can do to make yourself so-called lucky is to master the fundamentals and then master them again. And then master them again. Go as deep as you can. Jonathan, if there's anything that separates me from the pack of jackanapes out there, it's this. I am constantly going, even today, to this day, 15 years and, 16 years, however long it's been since I started direct copywriting and direct marketing, I'm still a fundamentals guy. I really don't latch onto these new, look at this new persuasion technique and all this bull crap. I don't do that. I'm still looking at the fundamentals. I like to go deep. When I go to Wing Chun practice every week, Sifu tells me, he goes, if you want to get good at this, you just keep mastering the fundamentals. There's certain little movements, there's certain forms. You just keep mastering them. You keep practicing it. You keep honing those fundamentals. And what you find is, and I've found this and I've only been doing Wing Chun for a year and a half, or almost 2 years now. I'm still like, wow, this one move with my arm has so much depth to it. Like by the way you move your wrists and all these other things, there's so much depth to every single move that you're never going to master. You're never going to truly have it all. Even like the Grand Master himself, William Chung, he still is like the fundamentals guy, and he's the best in our lineage, at least, that there is. And so that's my whole point. In marketing, business, whatever it is you do, you just don't skip the fundamentals. Quit trying to leap ahead. Quit listening to these idiots on Flakebook. For one thing, the ones out there always trying to tell you they got a new video, some new secret technique. It's bullshit. All of it is bullcrap. And the one or two times it's not, you're not really missing much. I promise you that. Get back to the fundamentals. Get off the fake. Get back into the things that the old school guys paid for us. Are there tactics that apply to the internet that they didn't know? Yes, obviously. The fundamentals never change. They really don't. All right, end of that lecture. Another thing you can do, and this is a Captain Obvious moment, Jonathan, but it needs to be said, because, it is what it is hard work. Now, this is obvious, right? But people who work hard are the ones who are the most prepared for opportunities. That's just how it goes. And when I say hard work, I'm not talking about long hours necessarily, but hard work, hard, dedicated, consistently going. Putting an email out every day is considered hard work for a lot of people. And it is hard work for a lot of people. But if you put a daily email out every day, one email a day, 7 days a week, 365 days a year, you are going to make way more sales. You're going to make way more opportunity for yourself. Things are going to happen that you would never guess would happen. I don't know if she listens to this show or not, but one of my students, her name is Christy Johnson. She's a freelance copywriter. And I remember when she had a daughter. She's like homeschooling her daughter and all that, trying to get her in college and all that. I remember writing about this. And she started mailing daily. She just said she made a decision. She was, I'm going to start mailing daily. You might have seen this in the old Ben Settle Show Facebook group, Jonathan. It was very impressive. Because she took the bull by the balls, twisted the balls, whatever.
Ouch.
And it was like 90. She kept herself accountable. She was like, I'm 94 days into this, and then she would say all the cool things that have happened that she didn't even know were going to happen. Like I said, the opportunities come out. You don't even know where they're going to come from just by consistently putting an email out every day. I have seen it happen. It happens to me to this day. I just today, Jonathan, I got an email from, now I'm not going to take advantage of this because I don't do freelance copywriting, but if I was a freelance copywriter, I would have been doing like cartwheels. There's a very prestigious direct marketing company named Lombardi Publishing. Very prestigious. They hire A-list copywriters and all that. And just today they said, I got an email from them out of the blue. I don't even know who this person is, but I know, she said she was from Lombardi. She goes, we would love to hire you. Could you send us some samples of some financial promotions? Long form sales letters. Now, A, I don't write financial promotions. I never did get into that niche. And B, I'm not for hire. But that's because I'm mailing every day. those opportunities come to me. It's not because I'm not seeking these opportunities. I'm not even looking for them. They're just coming to me. And that's just one example. And Christy, I know her, she had all kinds of good stuff happening to her, all because of hard work, putting that one email a day out, not having excuses, not looking for a safe place because you have writer's block or any of that stuff. You just do it. You just freaking do it. And you will look lucky because opportunities will abound. They will just fall out of the sky and land on you. And so it is. Another thing to do is to ignore anything trendy. Just, Jonathan, I'm going to put this out there. Ignore anything that's trendy. If you see more than 2 or 3 people saying something on Facebook, ignore it. That's gonna, there's all these like trendy words and phrases. I can't even keep up with them anymore. It's all horse shit. Going back to the horse shit thing. If you see more than 2 or 3 fluffpreneurs, especially using a phrase, just say it's bull crap, ignore it, get back to the fundamentals of what you should be doing. Just trust me on this. I told you I would not. I told you, Jonathan, I promised my audience this. I said, you just got to trust me. You follow my ways here. I got your back. Hey, now I'm rubbing the small of their back again. I'm like, it's okay. Now maybe rubbing the shoulders a little bit. Okay. A little sweat on the ass and I'll get out there and get back to work. Okay. Just trust me. Do as I say on this and you will see prosperity. I promise you. Finally, now here's something. I mean, this is not an exhaustive list by any means. I mean, I could do a whole series of shows just on this, Jonathan, but to create your own luck, and this is so simple, it's so obvious and simple, just sell high quality products to high quality people. If you just did that, if you did nothing but focus on quality to quality people, the product is mightier than the pen, as I believe that's what David Ogilvy said. Go after the players with money, the people who are serious buyers of stuff, who are already buying what you're selling. We talked about selling what people are buying, which is obvious, but people need to be told this. And you make sure your high quality stuff, you will seem lucky. You will have all kinds of success and people, you just got lucky. No, you deliberately were selling high quality products and services to high quality people and not low class jackasses. So that's all I got today, Jonathan. I don't know what next week's going to behold. It'll be a surprise, like a Cracker Jack box. You're going to reach into the next episode and I don't know what you're going to pull out. Hopefully something good. That's all I'm going to say.
All right. Yep. Good stuff. Thank you, Ben. Thank you, everybody, for tuning in, and we will be back with you next time.
You've been listening to the bensettle.com podcast. To get your hands on a free issue of Ben Settle's prestigious $97 per month email player's newsletter, simply go to www.bensettle.com.
This is the podcastfactory.com.